Hi everyone, it's Miss Perez. I'm here to read you some more Macbeth by William Shakespeare. I really hope you've had a great weekend and I hope you've been following along with the story. The last time Macbeth became King of Scotland, which he really wanted, but now he's realizing that the son of his friend Banquo will one day be king as well, so he has to do something about that. Let's see what he does. Macbeth held a coronation feast in the royal castle of Dunsinane. Many of the nobles who attended remarked that Macbeth's old friend Banquo was not present, but Macbeth laughed when they mentioned it. Lord Banquo and his son must have been delayed on their way, he said lightly. Only he knew what had delayed them, for he had hired 2 murderers to ambush them on the road. At the height of the feast, a servant brought Macbeth a message that 2 men wished to see him on urgent business. Macbeth hurried to his private chambers and found the murderers waiting there. "Have you done what I paid you to do?" Macbeth demanded. "Banquo was dead, my lord," one of the murderers said. "We cut his throat and threw the body into a ditch." Macbeth sighed with relief. Perhaps now he would sleep peacefully. But when he sensed something was wrong, neither of the murderers would look at him, and they kept anxiously shuffling their feet. "And his son?" said Macbeth. The reply was shattering. "He escaped, my lord. Banquo's son still lives." As he returned to the banqueting hall, doubts tortured Macbeth like scorpion stings. "Banquo's son still lives," he thought. "Lives to take his revenge on me? To claim the throne and father sons who will rule after him? Is there no end to the blood that must be shed before I find peace?" As he entered the hall, Macbeth put on a false smile to hide his troubled mind. But the smile froze when he saw a hooded figure seated in his chair. "Who dares to sit in my place?" he roared. The guests fell silent and looked bewildered. The king's chair was empty. "Why, no one, my lord," said Lady Macbeth with a forced laugh. She could see that something was wrong with her husband, but she could not guess what. "The king is jesting," she told the nobles. "This is no jest," barked Macbeth. He strode angrily toward the figure, then recoiled in horror as it drew back its hood. For what he saw was Banquo, with weeds tangled in his hair and mud streaked across his face, with a deep gash in his neck that sent a stream of blood pattering onto the flagstones and haunting glassing eyes that stared and stared. "Get rid of him!" Macbeth screeched. The nobles sprang to their feet, drawing their daggers, knocking over chairs and wine cups in the confusion. "Back to your grave," sobbed Macbeth. Banquo smiled. There was blood in his mouth, and his teeth shone white through it. Then he faded into the shadows and the torchlight. "My lords, the king is ill," Lady Macbeth said desperately. "Leave us now and let him rest. In the morning he will be himself again." "Myself?" Macbeth moaned softly to himself. "I will not be myself again until Banquo's spirit is laid to rest. Only the witches can set me free." So it sounds like Macbeth is going to go off to see the witches. Let's see what happens next. Stay tuned. Bye, everyone.